Hi, and welcome to Hopeful Hearts Podcast. I'm Tamara Lexo, Executive Director of Hopeful Hearts Ministry, and I'm here with Shannon Carr, the founder of Hopeful Hearts Ministry. Hey, Shannon.
Hello. Hello, Tamara. Hello, everybody.
So, we've got some things to talk about today. Um, the first one that will lead into other discussion. Like, it's so big. I'm
Okay.
doing the hand motion. If you're just
Disclaimer.
listening,
I know. And I'm like
oh,
if you're
disclaimer.
watching the
No,
YouTube, as you
disclaimer.
should go watch us, I'm like mouthing to
Always
her,
do the
disclaimer,
disclaimer.
disclaimer.
Yeah,
She did it so good last time, too.
I did. I
I
did. I
know.
always
So
forget.
proud
Okay, disclaimer.
because we need a
We are going,
disclaimer for this.
we need one. First, there's going to be some spoilers. Some spoiler alerts if you have not
Yeah.
watched Maternal Instinct on Netflix. Then
Yeah.
go watch it and then come back and listen to this. Second, we are talking about things that are definitely not suitable for children. And we are talking about things that could trigger if you have not done enough work on some of your past hurts. Um, so just go into this listening that knowing this is just for adults, um, and that it could be triggering on some tough topics. So, Maternal Instinct on Netflix. It is a true crime documentary.
Hmm.
Shannon and I love us some true crime documentaries. We do love them. And we will text each other. It'll be late at night, and I'll like just text her the name of one and where to watch it, and she'll do the same. But we don't talk about it until we get here on the podcast because we don't want to ruin the surprise and limit the conversation that we could have. So
The
if y'all,
initial response and reaction is so
yes,
fun with Tamra for me. Just putting it
it
out
is.
there.
It is.
Yeah.
So Maternal Instinct is a true crime documentary, and it is about the horrific murder.
Mm.
It was happened in 2020. It was a 21-year-old Reagan Simmons Hancock was murdered in New Boston, Texas. That is north of here, northeast Texas. It's like
Mhm.
in the real top right of Texas. It's a little bitty
Like
town.
before you cross over Louisiana to go into Shreveport.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Because then they can
Um,
also go up into Oklahoma. So I'm from Texas where I could go into Oklahoma in 10 minutes too. But when I had to
yeah,
look it up, it was very important to me to figure out
yeah,
where they were from. And it's
right.
not as close to my crazy side of the
Yeah,
tracks, but
yeah. Um, and so it's up there and it's a little town. So Reagan Simmons Hancock was murdered by Taylor Parker. Taylor Parker faked a pregnancy for 10 months. For 10
10 months.
months.
I know, 10 months. I'm sorry. Go on. Keep going. Sorry.
Right, 10
Oh
months
my
she faked a
God.
pregnancy to so she could keep her boyfriend. Now she already had two children and
And there was
she
not
had
enough said about those children, in my opinion, but go on.
well, there were a
Yeah.
couple people that were like, why would she want more kids when she wasn't even really a mother to the other two?
Right.
So I think her, I don't know. I don't know. It sounds like maybe her mom got to spend a lot of time with the kids because when things came out later, the mom was like, well, I couldn't say anything because she'd keep the kids from me. Or
Oh, that's right.
maybe the baby daddy I don't know. They were not clear on that, but she had two children and she had her tubes tied at 21. She was 21 years
Mhm.
old. She had her tubes tied. And then she had a tubal pregnancy or ectopic pregnancy and had a hysterectomy.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
So
I
then
have to
she
pause you
moved
for
to a
a
new
second.
town. Yeah,
I have
go
to
ahead.
pause you because you're making me giggle. Because if anybody has watched this and then you're listening to us, you will recognize that it's like Tamara can't say Taylor without sounding like she's coming from the documentary itself. Taylor, and she had a 10-month pregnancy. I'm like, oh, the country is coming out of Tamara right now. I love,
Sometimes
and
the
if you're
country,
watching YouTube, her camera just went really big on her face too. That was very dramatic.
that was funny.
That's awesome.
Um,
Okay, sorry, go on.
Sometimes the country sneaks out of me. Especially with a story like this. I mean,
Oh my goodness, yes.
if oh, look, my camera keeps moving in and
I
out. That's
know.
funny.
It's like
Um,
very dramatic.
yeah. Um, they say you take the girl away from what is it? Take the girl out of the country, but you can
Take
never
we
take the
can't take
redneck
the
off the girl.
country. That's right. Can't scrub that off.
Yeah, can't scrub it off. So, um, okay, so Taylor moved to a new town, met a man at the rodeo that
Mhm,
she was just completely enthralled with him. I don't want to say she was in love with him because it was fast.
mm-mm.
Like she met him and she wanted him and she got her claws dug into him and told everybody that she was very rich, or at least she was gonna be rich. Like she had money
I,
coming, right?
yeah, oh yeah, millions of dollars.
Millions of
Millions of
dollars were
dollars
gonna come
coming.
to
And
her
I'm
when her
like,
grandma died.
I'm just dumbfounded. I just like the look, I can't even still speak. In watching this documentary, and it was pretty quick for me to see it and then watch it. And I was about to go out of town. I was like, I gotta finish this documentary
Yeah.
before I go and tell Tamara about this. It was
Hmm.
unbelievable. But she supposedly was going to get millions of dollars per supposed family money. And in
Hmm.
this process, they purchased vehicles and
Yeah.
things and what does that
Like
call it?
a
Cut
side
your
by side.
side by side. And
Like a $20,000 side by side, which is
yeah.
like, if you don't know what a side by side is, it's kind of like a golf cart, but amped up. It's like for the
Oh, it's
farm.
major. Yeah. And I
Yeah,
don't,
it's
and please, if anybody's listening, I'm from the country myself. I lived on 7 acres.
yeah.
My grandfather was a farmer. I am not making fun. It is a
She's just
very,
laughing at my voice coming out. So,
yeah. Anyway,
hmm,
side and at myself, because I don't know
yeah,
some of these, the side by side and all the things,
yeah,
but they were going to buy $4 million, $5 million property, 8 million. How
yeah.
much? It was like a
So they bought the
multiple
side by
million
side.
dollar
They bought
property.
like a $90,000 truck. She bought his mother a car,
Right.
and they were in the process of trying to buy, was it like 40 acres or 200
Like
acres or
that.
something like that? It was like a
Yeah.
huge pecan farm and woods and stuff in Oklahoma. And all of these things were just going through. I'm like,
I
okay,
stick a
can I
double
just tell
bubble.
you
Like, I
that
mean, how in the
sometimes
world did she?
I don't, sometimes when like if my husband is in one town or one city working and I'm in a different city, sometimes the bank will shut off our debit card because they think it's suspicious activity, like that he went
Yeah.
got gas in New Orleans and I got gas in Houston on the same day. And they'll shut our debit card off and I have to go and call and I'm like, how is that happening? But yet this girl almost bought a $4 million property
Hmm.
like nobody was questioning it.
Hmm.
They drove a $90,000 truck home,
Mm-mm.
drove home this, took home the side by side, the car, like all these things. I'm like, who did that? Who signed off and were
Right.
like, yep, good. Their credit's good. She's got the money when she didn't have the money.
How is it possible? I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on that, but it really did
Right. No.
dumbfound me. I mean,
Yeah.
because, like I said, I mean, I can barely buy a stick of double bubble sometimes. Like,
Right.
I have
Right.
so much
Right.
school, college debt with my kids, and I'm just kidding.
Yes.
I'm not, I have good credit, but
No, but
I would never
you
even
but you wonder, right? You
try.
just that was the first. So that was the first piece where you started to question like her level of deception
Sanity.
and like what was up with what's going on with this girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then, then they start going into the medical stuff, how she starts posting online. She tells this boyfriend that she's pregnant, and he was kind of like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, he admitted that he was not in love with her. Um, he liked her, and she cooked him a good dinner every night, he said, which was funny. She cooked a good dinner every night, but he wasn't in love with her. I
Mm-hmm.
guess he was in like with her enough to sleep with her so that he believed her when she said she was pregnant.
Right. This isn't a matter
Um,
of just a month or two, right? This was
right.
only
Yeah.
like not
It was
six
quick.
weeks or think or something
Yeah.
in the
It was real
relationship.
quick.
Yeah.
Um, so she starts posting things on social media that she is pregnant, and she even bought a fake silicone belly to put under her shirt and was putting all this stuff out there on social media. Well, people from her old town, which was not super far away, this is where I got a little confused. Like, it was far enough away where she was meeting new people, but not so far away that, I don't know, like these people knew her still and could see her. They saw her stuff on social media. And so they started posting. And even her old doctor saw these things that she was posting, that she was pregnant, and was like, uh, no, she's not. Because they knew, like, the doctor had removed her uterus. He knew she could not get pregnant. It was physically impossible for her to get pregnant. Now, at
And that's
that
the other
point,
crazy thing.
I do
That's the other
wonder why
crazy
none
thing.
of those people messaged anybody. But,
But it's HIPAA. Like you
well,
can't.
that's true. But her old friend, like her old best friend, had
Oh,
even noticed
true.
it.
But I think
But
how crazy it was for these medical people that could not say anything
yeah,
and they live in the area and they're like, I know for a
I
fact that that is a
know for
fake
a
belly
fact.
and I
Yeah.
can't say a word about it.
Well, his family started then to get suspicious because she only bought one fake belly. She didn't buy like, I was
Hmm.
thinking, girl, if you're going to fake it, then buy several so you can look like you're progressing. But I
Hmm.
don't know. I've not looked into what the cost of a silicone maternity belly is either.
I don't know why
Maybe
we
they're
would.
maybe they're super expensive and she could only afford one after she bought the truck and the side by side. But she I don't know. But she bought one, and the family was like, well, she wasn't showing at all, and now all of a sudden, like in 2 days, she looks like she's 5 months pregnant. And then she never looked more pregnant than that. Like it was just that. So the family started questioning whether it was real or not. She was producing some documents that looked faked and like they'd been forged and all that kind of stuff. So the family started calling some of the clinics where she had been. And because of HIPAA, they couldn't say anything, which I still think they probably said more than they should, but they were like, well, we can't tell you anything, but what we can say is you should go with your gut on this. Go with your gut instinct. So it's like,
AKA, you are right. You are
I
right.
can't
That's
tell
how I
you
would
that
have
she's
taken that.
faking it, but I can tell you to go with your gut. So,
Uh-huh.
so she gets down to the wire, like past she went a month past the due date, which they were like, that can't happen. It can't. I was actually a 10-month baby. My mom can't,
For real?
but for real, but I don't think, because they didn't induce like in the old days like they do now. I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
you go a 10-month now. I just don't think that
No.
happens.
Uh-uh.
Um, yeah, I was a month late. Um,
Your poor
so her
mom,
family,
man.
I
Oh,
know, she was like,
oh
oh,
my
I
God.
thought you were a tumor because I didn't move much at the end. There's no, it's like, started thinking you were just a tumor. Um, but so the family is really questioning it because, in this day and age, you don't go 10 months. And she put on this whole rigmarole, this whole crazy story where she sent him off to buy or sell hogs or something. And she
Hmm.
was like, I'm going to go to the hospital. And she'd called in a bomb threat at the hospital. I mean, it was a mess. It was a whole mess.
Hmm.
But in the meantime, she went to a woman that she had made friends with who was pregnant, and she cut the baby out of this woman. So she murdered the
Hmm.
woman, cut the baby out,
Hmm.
and starts driving to the hospital, like leaves this woman for dead in her house, starts driving to the hospital with the baby with the umbilical cord in her
Hmm.
lap. And she
Hmm.
gets pulled over by police for speeding. And she gives them this whole story that she has just given birth on the side of the road and she's trying to get to the hospital. And so they get her there.
And I will say, in watching it, because they show that in the very beginning, and so I'm like, what? And I'm
Hmm.
looking at her, I'm like, if she just had the baby in the car, like there's no blood on
Yeah.
her pants are
Right.
still pulled up, like she's screaming and crying and she's shaking. I
Yeah.
mean, from adrenaline and all, she
Right.
just literally pulled a uterus and baby out of the woman.
Hmm.
It's really horribly sad to hear
Yeah.
what had happened. And but I was like, and I didn't, you don't know the whole story. And like again, we just ruined it for you if you haven't watched it. So hopefully you had turned
Yeah.
us off and watched it and
Oh,
came back.
yeah.
But I just was like, what? That is like clearly, but I think they all obviously saw that too, right? This baby
Well,
has an
that was,
umbilical cord, but there is nothing
there's
like,
nothing there.
how is
And she
she
should
so
have been,
clean?
she should have been hemorrhaging at that point. They
Right?
said like she should have been hemorrhaging and she wasn't. So then they get her, she gets to the hospital,
Oh, the placenta was still with it,
right?
everything.
Right. And they were like,
Yeah.
she she should be covered in blood. There should, and
Hmm.
we're going to do an exam. So they did blood work first, and
Hmm.
she had no HCG, which should be highly, highly elevated at that point because
Hmm.
that's the pregnancy hormone, and she had none. Um, they did an ultrasound, which at that,
Hmm.
and they were like, she's not pregnant. I would have thought they would have been, well, not only is she not pregnant, but she doesn't have a uterus. From the
Hmm.
ultrasound, you would be able to see that. But then they had a doctor do an exam and she
Hmm.
let them do all of this.
I know, I know.
And the doctor was like, this woman has not given birth, that she did not
Hmm.
just give birth. This did not happen. And they took the baby aside. They tried to work on the baby a little bit. The baby died. And she's still laying there in the bed claiming that she gave birth.
Hmm.
Do you think she believed herself? Like, do you think she was believing her own
Yes,
lie?
I do. I
I do too.
think, yeah, absolutely. I do think that there are people, and I know some that have been in my life at some point in
Hmm.
time that believe their lie so badly. Like they just believe their lie.
Hmm.
That and it's called something. And then this is when I wish we had Melina on with us to tell us the name of what this is called. But it's called something when you are a perpetual liar and you literally
Hmm.
live and believe your lie.
Yeah.
And it and they could pass lie detector tests
Yes.
because they believe their lie so well. But at the
Yeah.
same time, she was I mean, they are also manipulative also, like
Manipulative.
they do whatever it is that they need to do to
Hmm.
get whatever it is that they want to have.
Right. I mean, she did a gender reveal. They brought out a little cow with a pink bow on it, and she had pregnancy pictures taken with the boyfriend. And at this, like, there was a point in time where one of his friends' wives started doing some investigation, and she was like, she's not pregnant. I don't believe she's pregnant. And his
Hmm.
mom was saying, I don't think she was pregnant, but he didn't believe them because
Hmm.
she was living with him and he was going, why would she fake it? Like how do
Hmm.
you fake that? I don't get it.
But
But
this is where I just okay, a few things. A, with him, if he's living with her but she's not allowing him to see her naked.
Yes.
She's not allowing him to
Yep.
touch her. Now, however, there was a point where, because she allowed herself to get big too, like, so
Yes.
she took on
She gained
weight
some weight.
to allow
Hmm.
herself to get really big. And I think there was a moment where she was able to do, she did something to make it look like her stomach, like something kicked. Do you remember that?
She let somebody touch her belly.
Like
It
she
was
had
like
gas probably or
his
something,
aunt or
like.
uncle or something. Yeah. And they were touching the belly and they supposedly felt the baby kick.
Yeah, but
Look,
I
I was just
think,
rubbing my
like,
belly when I was saying that.
yeah, like you're laughing or you could, like, I don't know,
Yeah.
do something and make it,
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
Just
However,
like, I don't
I
know what
just
she
feel
did.
like the boyfriend, I don't know. I can't fault anybody. I'm
Well,
just only
no, I
questioning.
don't fault
But
anybody. It's just, it's so crazy. And I think, I mean, he even said, I'd never had a child before. She'd had two. He said, I just trusted her on
hmm
what she was doing, what she was buying,
hmm
how things were progressing. He said, I didn't
right,
know. I just trusted her.
right.
And that's, I mean, how often do we just trust people?
We
That's the
do.
thing.
But or why don't we just talked about this in our one of our last episodes of our podcast is why don't we ever say something? So it's the
Yeah.
friends that knew or even
Mm-hmm.
the family members that were questioning and called,
Mm-hmm.
the clinic and I I feel like, and I could be wrong. I would think that I would be that horrible person that would go up to you and go, "I need to see your belly." Like, I'm
Me
going to
too.
pull up your shirt or I'm going to, like I'm
Me
going to
too.
call this out. I would be that bi,
Mm-hmm.
biatch person.
I think I
Excuse
would
my
too.
language, but
But I think there was a time in my life that I wouldn't have. But I'm just
yeah,
of
it's
an
not my
age and
business. We're just going to look
yeah.
away. We're not going to say anything. He'll figure it
Hmm.
out.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
not
know.
as polite and genteel as I once was.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little more brazen now. I probably would. I'd be like, if I had that serious of a doubt, I'd be like, show me your belly. I want to see it right now.
hmm hmm
Um, but I don't know. I mean, I've not walked in their shoes. And the thing is, all of these people are so sad now.
hmm
They feel
Yeah.
such guilt.
Yeah.
They feel so guilty. And they
That they
even
didn't
said, like,
do something. Yeah.
yeah, they said that, like, even they don't even really talk to anybody that knew about it anymore because nobody wants to remember it and nobody. So it's like it damaged friendships and family. They
hmm
just, and I feel so bad for the boyfriend. He, like, how's he ever going to trust anybody again? It's
Right.
going to be really,
Right.
really hard for him to trust another woman again. I think
hmm
that's so heartbreaking. And
And I think,
and we can all watch the true crime things and go, I could do better. Um,
hmm we
I
never
would do
know.
this, I would do that, but we don't know.
hmm
We
hmm
don't know. Now, the the wrap up of that was thankfully she was convicted. She is um one of the only women currently on Texas death row.
Uh-huh.
I think she was the youngest woman ever. I think.
She is. She is the
Okay.
youngest
Youngest
on death row. Yeah.
youngest woman on Texas death row.
hmm
Um, which is just that's sad too. I mean, that's a whole nother talk for a whole
hmm
nother day. Um, but when they went back and started talking to friends from her past, she showed signs early on. So when she was a teenager, or young teenager, she was overweight and she was talking to people online, to boys online, and she was asking her friends to
Oh
send her
yeah, I forgot
pictures
about
of
that.
her body, of their body.
Of their body without their face.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that she could send pictures. to these boys online because she wanted them to like her. And the friends are like, what are they going to do when they meet you in person? And she's like, I don't know. Like, like she didn't care about that. She wanted to lead them on for as long as she could.
Hmm.
And they said then she had like gastric bypass surgery and got thin. And so then she started dating all the time. And, but there was a friend that I guess after she had had her hysterectomy that she got really close with this friend who was pregnant and, um, kind of got too close. The girl was like really uncomfortable with how
Hmm.
close she was getting because she felt like she was, excuse me, felt like she was trying to like take over her pregnancy.
Hmm.
And um and she kind of pushed the friendship away. Well, that's when she moved to the new town and started the whole thing,
Hmm.
with the guy. And then anyway,
Yeah.
there are people that are just that manipulative, and that's
Hmm.
like you said, they believe their own lies. Um, so you were saying you had a something that kind of tied into it.
Well, yeah, it's funny, but well, it's not funny. None of this is funny.
No,
And
no,
and I want to say this before we get completely off
sorry, I
this
got allergies.
particular thing. Um, I do recognize that sometimes when people have these symptoms or have this whatever it's called where they
Mm-hmm.
lie perpetually and like she clearly had to have suffered some sense of abuse herself. I have no doubt that they would go back and look in the past. I don't believe that people are that's just my thought.
No,
Nobody
I
please
agree.
write and sue us or whatever, but I just believe that something triggered some catastrophic thing in her brain that then made her feel
Mm-hmm.
like, like I need to now lie about my life, lie and to where I could get better, to where I could have
Yeah.
things that I want
Mm-hmm.
and such like that. And so my heart goes out to her. I mean, I am not one. I am admittedly not one for the death
Mm-hmm.
penalty because I feel like that, you know, everybody has a chance to live out the life however God intends to work through that, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe, hopefully, she can find him and be, um, you know, and be saved before she
Yeah.
goes, right? So, with that being said, though, I think about I've met with my cousin. I have many cousins. I come from a family that is very, very large, and just in our side of
Mm-hmm.
the family, I have I can't even remember. It was like 36 or 37 first
Mm-hmm.
cousins, and then another 32 second cousins, and then like another
Wow.
15, third cousins that I
Mm-hmm.
know of. All this was before my grandmother passed away at the age of 95. So she had six kids. And then each of those six kids, all of them had, except for I have an uncle, that did not get married nor have children. But all of the others had six kids, and my dad had four. And but we were meeting my cousin and I. She's from the oldest daughter. I'm from the youngest son, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we are the bookends of the family. And I haven't seen her in years, but I used to spend so much time. Like I said, my grandfather was a farmer. Like we had a farm, like we would go out there and hang out and have these big family Fourth of July events and Christmas
Mm-hmm.
events and all the things. And we would hear all these different stories about certain people in the family. And I
Mm-hmm.
have one uncle that, God bless his soul, all of them, my dad and all his brothers and then sister have all passed away. So there's
Mm-hmm.
none of them are alive to this day,
Yeah.
except for all of his cousins. And we were just discussing some of the craziness, the crazy stories, things that maybe my dad even did, or that my uncle has done, or that
Mm-hmm.
some of our cousins have done. Um, and we started talking about just this generational. And I keep asking you, it's like a generational bondage, if you will, or a
Yeah.
darkness, something
Mm-hmm.
like the sins of the father that
Right.
keep that continuously going. And we have
Mm-hmm.
to find a way to break that cycle. And I think
Right.
in many ways, that is why I even started Hopeful Hearts Ministry. I have many reasons why, just because I know there are so many people out there that have never ever put a voice to what they've been through or lived through.
Mm-hmm.
But I also recognize that if we don't talk about some of these situations within our family or that have happened to us and give voice to it, it will perpetuate. It will
Exactly.
continue. And so I have to think that with this person,
Mm.
Taylor, is that her, what,
Yeah.
Taylor? Was
Uh-huh.
that her
Taylor.
name? Taylor. I have to,
Taylor.
uh, Taylor, I have to imagine and just, guess that something had perpetuated in her family that
Mm-hmm.
caused her to have that ability and that know-how of manipulation, of taking
Yeah.
on this aspect in line. And
Mm-hmm.
because I see that in certain aspects of my family. And
Yeah.
I love my cousins, but I really, and maybe one day when I have time to just write and do nothing but write
Mm-hmm.
stories and everything, I would have to map out probably an 8 book, like what would you call it? Saga? I don't know. Like
Yeah, sure.
it would be very long. And I have
Mm-hmm.
many cousins, the ones from my craziest uncle, that always tell me you should write our story because he was the
Uh-huh.
craziest,
Uh-huh.
and it is like
And
TV
they're okay with
worthy.
that. Like they acknowledge that
They
he's the
would, oh,
craziest.
they would. They would
Okay.
be okay with
Okay.
that. And they are all, I think, in some ways trying to break that cycle
Oh, good. Yeah, good for
by
them.
speaking out. I have one cousin that you know, she's into art and she expresses the abuse that she went through her art. And I mean, but I have some family members that probably have no idea the abuse that happened
Uh-huh.
because of my uncle. I didn't know a lot of it until after he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even in talking with my cousin just recently at this dinner, talking about my grandmother, who I loved and adored, but there were certain aspects of her life that then, because of things that happened to her, you know, um, like this said crazy uncle,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to call him crazy, but he kind of was. When he was 2, she accidentally spilt boiling hot coffee on him and he got
Oh.
scarred. And ever since then, she blamed herself so badly that everything was about him. So she coddled him. Nothing he
Uh,
did was
yeah.
wrong. Nothing,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? So then my
Mm-hmm.
dad came after that uncle,
Mm-hmm.
and he was pretty much pushed aside
Yeah.
and forgotten. And then she went, this is all going to sound so horrible. This is why I have to write a book. She went and adopted a 15-year-old, my Aunt Dolores. She adopted her thinking she could speak Spanish, but she didn't know how to speak Spanish because she was of possible Hispanic heritage, but yet she didn't know Spanish. And so she adopted her, but essentially adopted her to take care of my father when she was only 15. Right. So my
So
grandmother,
she adopted someone to be a Spanish speaking nanny,
correct, but that didn't end up knowing
but didn't
Spanish, but she had
but
already
didn't
adopted
check
her.
to
Yeah.
see if she really knew Spanish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think
Yeah.
you'd check on things like that.
Right. And so my grandmother she had she had some issues that didn't
Mm-hmm.
even come to play, I think, until after that moment happened where she nearly killed, my uncle with the scalding hot coffee because he really was. He could have died from the burns that he had. And then because of just some other craziness in our family, he got away with thinking he could do whatever he wanted. And then he
Sounds like a
also,
real thick layer of narcissism,
oh
like
yeah. Oh
real
yeah.
thick
And I'm
that
sure,
the grandmother
hopefully I'm not
had.
a
And
narcissist.
no,
I hope that's not a generational bond that I run into with this family, but
no. But I
It
think
is
that
in there for sure. Yeah.
that's like a real thick layer of that on your
Yeah.
grandmother.
Yeah.
And so then it was probably learned by the crazy
Hmm.
uncle that was coddled
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
it worked for her, and so it worked for him.
Hmm. But I have to, he lied. He lied all the time. And it just made me, when I was listening to this and just thinking about this woman and this crazy story, like, I hate to admit this, I would not be surprised to have had one of, somebody in my family possibly do something as unbelievable. Because
Yeah.
it's not the same story, but I probably could say a few things now. I would have to really sit down and get myself an outline so I could sit and talk about it. And maybe one day we'll have a series where I
Well,
could talk about
and I
the
was,
crazy in the family. But
and we
yeah.
always say, I always joke with people. It's like everybody always talks about how crazy their family is, but you never hear anyone go, "We're the crazy ones," But well, I have a family member, and I'm not going to say which side or how it works out because I don't know who's listening, but that this person has lied for their entire adult life about medical issues, saying like, "Oh, I have this wrong and I have to have this surgery," and "Oh, I got this job and they gave me this huge signing bonus," and then it's like it's the money's never there, the surgery never happened, and now this person has got like they've got to an age where they've started injuring themselves to
Mm.
like they make more money on like workman's comp and
Medical, yeah.
and disability, and so like I see that, and it's
Hmm.
and everybody else sees it,
Hmm.
so I don't. And see, here I was saying that
And
I
then
would
we
say
don't say
something,
anything.
and I don't say
See, and
anything.
we don't say anything. And so here I am, even correcting myself when I say, hey, why didn't somebody say something?
Right. And then we
My
have relatives
crazy
that are doing
uncle would come around and it's like, oh, he's around. We can't necessarily say anything. Now, granted, there were moments like my mom
hmm
would say something to his face. I know some maybe
hmm
other family members would say something, but it would be so brushed off, or like he always had an answer for
hmm
what it was he was doing or whatever. Or it just became like, oh, that's just, Uncle so and so,
Right.
right? Oh, that's just Uncle so and so. He's the crazy uncle. He's the crazy one in the family.
hmm
But now I'm like, no, I could probably name a lot of people. And I'm sure maybe they want to call me out and name me, like,
Yeah.
which, okay, maybe, I don't know.
Right.
But uh, I just think about that generational aspect. And I
hmm
pray, I get really kind of intense by it because I think all the time, like, how are my kids going to be? How are my grandkids going to be? Am
hmm
I doing anything that is going to instill this cycle of, you know, of this generational
Yeah.
ridiculousness,
hmm
right? Well, let me talk about the other side of the family, and the other side where that's where I was truly abused from,
hmm
that grandfather, my mom's dad. I've said that a million times, so I'm not saying anything
hmm
that nobody doesn't know.
Right.
And you know, I I just pray that nothing has continued to perpetuate. And I'm grateful. I think one way we stopped it is that my mom came forward,
Yes.
later in life, but at least she came
hmm
forward. At least she told all of her brothers who had no idea
hmm
that he had done that and probably still don't even believe us to an extent, which is
Yeah.
frustrating because it's all of us girls.
Right.
But because she talked, because she had a voice, because she said something, she broke, hopefully, that cycle,
hmm
or
Yes.
maybe caused somebody to think twice and go, maybe I
hmm
can't do this or shouldn't do this or shouldn't continue with this behavior. But
hmm
I don't know.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's, I think about behaviors that I learned from my parents and um, I have talked very openly about how when my kids were toddlers that I had a huge rage problem. I did not know how to contain the rage. I mean, it was more than just anger, it was rage that I carried with me all the time for a lot of reasons. Um, some of it was learned behavior, some of it was earned behavior, some of it was, had come on from traumatic events, losing my mom to suicide. And um, I just had so much rage in me and had to go to counseling. I went through 12-step program a couple times. Well, I had to do a lot of work to break a lot of cycles.
Hmm.
And I know that my kids, when they were little, um, they witnessed the worst of me.
Hmm.
And I have prayed
Mm.
constantly over the years
Yeah.
that I didn't damage them, but I talked to them about it too. I mean, I've been very open with them talking about how I don't like the kind of mom that I
Hmm.
was when they were very small. I mean, I didn't do everything wrong. I did, there were a lot of things I did right, um but there are things that I wish I could go back and change. And I've tried to be honest with them about that so that they're aware that if things come out, if they start seeing things in themselves, that they would want to go to counseling.
Hmm.
Um, you know,
Yeah, you
I
have to do different
yeah.
to in order to
Yeah.
break that generational bondage. You have
Mm-hmm.
to be cognizant enough to do different. And I'm with you,
Right.
Tamara. I as a young mom, had a lot of rage still. It was before I
Mm-hmm.
even had my what I call my conversion moment,
Mm-hmm.
of really coming back to God and and I think back and I talk to my kids about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, I will tell you, I mean, just recently, and maybe we did, I don't know if maybe we did a podcast on this. I can't remember now
Mm-hmm.
because it was around Christmas time. But, my son, my oldest, looked at me because he was the one that kind of took on a lot of this anger from me at
Mm-hmm.
a young age. And it wasn't anger towards him. It was just, oh, it breaks my
Yeah,
heart to think about. And
I know.
he looked at me and he was like, Mom, I understand and I forgive you and I've let it go. I've
Mm-hmm.
let it go and you need to let it go. And, we need
Mm-hmm.
to,
Yeah.
quit going back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like things are different, things are changed,
Mm-hmm.
and I appreciated that. I
Yeah.
did. And it did help. And I think that is something, but no matter what, in order to break these generational bonds, we have to be cognizant
Mm-hmm.
of what they are
Yeah.
and to do different and to
Mm-hmm.
speak about it and try not to be afraid to call somebody out. And I think there's a familiarity and a comfort within a family that
Mm-hmm.
we're maybe different and maybe you have a different say in this, or maybe it's not even a comfort, maybe it's a I don't want to peck out the hornet's nest. So I'm just not
Mm-hmm.
going to say anything because I know what happens if I were to, you know,
Yeah.
hit this hornet's nest and then all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden all the crazy is going to start coming
Yeah.
out.
Right. Yeah, like it could be like a domino effect and
Hmm.
you knock one down and they all start tumbling,
Hmm. And when it's not your family and it's maybe easier to be like, you're crazy.
mhm.
You crazy.
Right? Yeah,
It's
we
not
see it on
affecting
Netflix
me.
and yeah. I was just thinking, I'm like, man, just a few minutes ago I was talking with a lot of bravado about what I would do and not do. And then I'm like, oh
But
wait, excuse
that's
me,
what I
this is
love
actually
about
happening in my family. Never
Right,
mind. I
right.
probably would sit back and just pour more
But I
tequila.
think talking about it, or hopefully for those of you listening, maybe
Yeah.
it'll make us, hopefully it'll make us think differently. And
Yes.
if we see something or hear something, maybe we need to then say something,
Yes.
right?
No, I
Um,
agree. I agree. That's and that was kind of the whole message in our last podcast. Like you said, it
mhm.
um when you see it, say it. See something, speak out, call it
Yeah.
out. Because that's the things that are allowed to go on in the darkness will continue to go on in the darkness and they gain power.
Hmm.
But once you pour light on it, then it can't go on anymore.
Hmm.
So, um, that's what we're called to do as Christians. That's what we're called to do just as human beings to, bring light into the
Hmm.
darkness. Yeah.
But I also think about, and I mean, I'm not lying. Maybe one day I will write this little saga or try to write it maybe in a fictional sense, but nonfiction.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Based off
Uh-huh.
of
Yeah.
my family. But just because I
Inspired by
don't
a true story.
inspired by a true story, because I don't I mean I wasn't there for a lot of it.
Yeah.
So I can
Right.
only go off of the theme
Hmm.
or the what happened, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, but I think when I say that, there is a shame that comes forward.
Yeah.
There's a shame. So it's like,
Hmm.
oh, yes, I think it would be funny in some
Hmm.
aspects, right? Because
Hmm.
it is so crazy, because truly that's
Right.
what we all, I mean, we're laughing even about the
Hmm.
craziness of this
Yeah.
horribly sad story, right?
Exactly.
We're not laughing at it. We're just,
No.
it's insane.
Right.
And because my heart goes out to that poor mother who lost her daughter, and then the
It's
poor child
horrific. I
that
mean,
has
it's
no
absolutely
mother. But
horrific. And
yeah,
I can't even tell you how many different text threads I have that have blown up in the
right,
last like 4 days where people are watching it like, did you see it? Did you see it? So no, we're not laughing. It's just it's
right.
out there and it's so unbelievable.
Outrageous. Yeah,
It is so outrageous that I think everybody is just dumbstruck. Like I don't even know what to say
right.
about it. It's so uncomfortable.
But I think that we all, that's, I think, and that's why we brought up family, because I
Yeah.
think that we all could name one person
Yeah.
somehow that might be
Hmm.
just as
It could.
outrageous.
Yeah.
And so I say that, and then there's shame that comes up with that
Yeah.
because their blood,
Hmm.
right? Because
Hmm.
it's in my family line,
Yeah.
because how many more of us are there? Because
Hmm.
all but for God that maybe I'm not, one step
Right.
away from being just as crazy,
Right.
right? I
Exactly.
don't know.
I mean, it is. So, what have we learned from this? We have learned that we all have a few nuts in our family tree.
I got the whole pecan tree where you have to
Yeah,
like put the thing down and shake it and you get like a whole, you know what I'm talking about, harvest.
I do. I do.
Anyway,
Which is
sorry, I'll
funny
let you.
because that was the property that she was buying was like a pecan something. Yes. No, I
Anyway.
think that's all of our families. And I think in my family, I am one of the biggest pecans on the tree. So it is, um, but it is our job to call it out, and it is our job to do better. When you know better, you do
Mhm.
better, right?
That's right.
So, um, thank you for listening today. I know we were kind of all over the place, but I hope that you enjoyed the topic and like and subscribe there. I always feel funny saying that, but
Mhm.
if you
And I
like
want to know your
this
comments
episode,
and your questions. I'm sorry to interrupt you,
yeah,
Tamara, but I do want
no,
to say
please.
that. Like, do comment if you do
Yes.
hear this. And if you can, I don't know if on the podcast part you can comment, but I know on the YouTube one you
And
can. Or if you have
yeah.
questions, like email us. It's Shannon at
Hmm.
hopefulheartsministry.org or Tamara at
Hmm.
hopefulheartsministry.org. And I mean, we would love, to talk
I'd
about the
love to
things
talk
that you
more
want to
about
talk
this.
about.
Yeah.
You want to come on this podcast? Come on the podcast.
Oh, that's right. If you'd like to learn more about what we do at Hopeful Hearts Ministry, you can visit us at hopefulheartsministry.org. We're glad that you were with us today. Thanks, Shannon. This has been fun.
Same here. Take care.